Hello, and welcome to Swahili 21st Century. The objective here is to provide our viewing audience a comprehensive course in the language called Swahili. My name is Dr. Chopin, and I'll be your teacher. Let me tell you first a little bit about how I found out about the language of Swahili. Before 2008, I heard the word Swahili, but it didn't mean too much to me until I went to a festival in Chicago where I found a book that was written by Sharifa Zawawi. Sharifa Zawawi, or Dr. Zawawi, was a Swahili teacher at the City University of New York. When I got the book, I looked up her information and tried to get her to help me with the language because it does have its challenges. Because she was in New York and I was in Michigan, we did some talking over the phone, just a little bit. Mostly we did emails, but I still didn't think I was getting it. So I decided later on to go to school for it. And I ended up at the Michigan State University where I took it for 2 years. Well, let me tell you, I love Swahili. Right now, we're going to do a brief historical background. This is our first video. Please be patient with us. You can ask questions in the comment section below to get clarity on things, and anything that I can do to make it easier for you to understand, I will do. So let's move on. Swahili, or Kiswahili, is an East African language. It belongs to the family of the Niger-Congo languages, and it's also a Bantu language. Now, what Bantu means is that many words in the language are similar to words that are in other languages of the Niger-Congo family. So they pretty much consider it the language of the people. So when they say it's a Bantu language, they mean that it's the language of the people, meaning that the similarities in the words go across various African cultures. Swahili is spoken mainly in an East African country called Tanzania. That's where the largest number of speakers live. But there are also people who speak it in Kenya and Uganda. Yes, I said Uganda and not Uganda, as people say, because the correct pronunciation is Uganda. So these are the three main countries where you hear it spoken. They have it in all aspects of their life. They have it on their money. They have it on their signs in their community. People speak it at home. But when you speak about the number of speakers across the globe, you have something like 300 million primary and secondary speakers. And what that means is a primary speaker is someone who speaks Swahili as their native tongue. And a secondary speaker is somebody like myself, because for me, my primary language is English. So you take all those primary and secondary speakers and you add them together, you have about 300 million speakers. Now, if you stick with this course and learn a little something, you'll end up being part of that 300 million. Also, there are about 20 dialects or versions of Swahili. So everybody's got their version. But for the purposes of this course, we're going to be learning what has become the standard Swahili. And this is the Swahili of Zanzibar there in East Africa, and it's pronounced Kiunguja. the Kiunguja dialect. So this is what we'll be learning. Now, this particular dialect of Swahili is taught in schools there in East Africa. When you listen to the news and you hear them speak, they're going to be using that standard Kiunguja dialect. They use it in the business offices, in government, and definitely in the media. So you have several places where it's taught and spoken, and so it has become popular, the Kiunguja dialect. Now, Swahili is the language that was spoken when Europeans, Arabs, East Indians, and people from other cultures traded with East African as far back as the 13th century. This contact resulted in Swahili having loan words from those cultures. One example is the word pesa, which is a Portuguese word, and it means money. So, if you want to know how to say money in Swahili or Kiswahili, you say pesa, pesa. Swahili also has loan words from English, like sentensi, which means sentence. Technology words are borrowed from English, but many religious words are borrowed from Arabic. Now, in order for a word from another culture to gain acceptance into the Swahili language, it must end in a vowel, such as A, E, I, O, or U. So all words end in a vowel. There's no Swahili word, unless it has some Arabic etymology or origin. There's no word that does not end in a vowel. And those words, some of those words that are exclusively Bantu, they end in the letter A, whereas the loan words end in I, O, U, or E. But most of the original Bantu Swahili words end in the letter A. So you might ask yourself, why learn Swahili? Well, consider the following facts. Number one, Swahili is not the language of the colonizer. We all know what a colonizer is. Next, Swahili is not the language of the slave master, and we know who the slave master was. Languages such as English, Spanish, Portuguese, French, and even Arabic are the languages which colonizers and slave masters spoke. So, if you want to explain to someone why they should learn Swahili, or why you yourself should learn Swahili, sorry to answer a question with a question, but first of all, why not Swahili? But most importantly, it is important to learn Swahili to promote a universal, unified Africa. And that even means here in America amongst blacks, African Americans, or blacks of the diaspora. It makes us more unified. We have a language that we can relate to. So, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching this video. If you like it, please indicate so, and please subscribe to my channel. If you have any questions, please use the comment section below, and I will answer them as soon as possible. Up next, we're going to learn how to pronounce the Swahili words. As they say in Swahili, tutaonana baada ya